thing here is it is a Monumentalist explosive entrance start, and Monumentalist with Finny on this map is disgusting. I don't really know how Jackpot's gonna be able to keep it out, but I do have faith that Color Craze is gonna do some strike resetting in order to kind of feed the core out every time it gets to that situation.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see how Alphamy navigates the Finny matchup as well. Notoriously, Alphamy is a very prolific Zentaro player, so it'll be fun to see him play, and oh my god!
Didn't even finish. Oh my goodness. Alphamy with the masterclass. Color Craze taking both bears, then Alphamy absolutely just sealing the deal, scoring the goal before. Honestly, it didn't even look like Striker Kai and Twisty knew it was even going on before it was too late.
Starting off again with a lot of pressure off of Zentaro. Since he had passive and secondary, he's able to affect the core basically immediately. And at these early levels where not everybody has ult yet, that's just even more valuable. And they just get both barriers so quickly again.
Oh, and Luke is down. Luke unable to get level 2 at all, constantly remaining under pressure, constantly remaining dead. Hey, it might be a quick set for a quick first set for this game. I'm really enjoying how much pressure Mexicasual is putting on as well. You know, holding the secondary down, obviously, but also like these primaries are putting a lot of damage on the enemy team.
Agreed. And I feel like Color Craze especially is playing around the primaries super well. He's positioning in such a way that it becomes so much easier to affect more parts of the field. And just like that, there are another 2 barriers up, open net. Color Craze is getting hurt though, so maybe we're going to start seeing a turn.
Yeah, the enemy team, Dragonslayers 2, them hitting level 2 when they did was kind of perfect clutch, because they were able to put a lot of damage on the Color Craze to kind of keep him out of the play. But it doesn't seem like it really matters, because Alphamy is able to seal the deal again. You know, they were probably so afraid of it getting to Color Craze because of the flip being up, but hey, that didn't matter, you know, you're playing against a Zentaro.
The Zentaro MVP on an explosive entrance start is scary, because all he's looking for is damage, and there's heavy impact.
Oh my goodness. I just, you know, I played against a Zentaro earlier today who had explosive entrance. Oh, Reptile Remedy instead, trying to deny any stagger from getting to Dragonslayers 2. Honestly, I kind of like that pickup, though I do feel like the heavy impact is just so much value, and it falls to Color Craze, so there's going to be their damage for them.
Yeah, I think I do like the pick there. They're getting a lot of value off the damage. I think it's interesting that Striker Kai decided to go for Spark instead of taking heavy impact himself. I think that gives now a lot of CDR and a lot more damage that kind of gets amplified with the Monumentalist that it now already has. So we'll see if the scaling pays off later on.
Yeah, 100%. Something to note, I do think that Dragonslayers 2 was trying to abuse a lot of the new patch. So, you know, they're picking up Spark, probably, presumably, oh, a nice kill. Picking up the park, presumably to try and get Spark of Leadership later on, you know, playing Era. But Luke's still opting to take the strike shot over the mob. And oh my goodness, from the grave, and Color Craze able to seal it, even though it was inside the Finny ult for that little tiny bit.
Tragic series of events that end up with Jackpot on top.
Yeah, this is a masterclass from Jackpot. I'm impressed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think going into this, Dragonslayers are probably the favorites, like you said. But with Alphamy, Zentaro, Color Craze, and Mexicasual in the backline, they are putting on a show right now.
You know, 100%. The Tornado almost taking out Color Craze, you know, getting rid of a lot of that flip value. And they're just putting a lot of pressure onto Color Craze. You know, he's not able to get up and kind of help take the barriers, and because of that, it's a lot easier for Luke to defend. But let's see where it's at now. It's on their side of the field for once, and it looks like Twisty's actually the one that's about to go down.
Now, this is probably the first time this match we've seen Dragonslayers like actively on the offense, and even still, when they're pushing the ball forward, they're taking so much damage. Twisty is playing on a knife's edge right now. But, oh, excellent save.
Knife's Edge is not in the Awakening pool, but it doesn't seem to be the way because, oh my goodness, you were right. They are playing on a Knife's Edge, and there goes Color Craze off the side. The Monumentalist on the Era getting a lot of value, and that's a wonderful strike by Alphamy in order to kind of take the barrier and retain core control at the exact same time.
Excellent strike work, too.
Oh, we're fools. We were thinking, oh, it has to be heavy impact. No, Alphamy knows this character better than we ever will. My goodness.
He has more than enough damage already. Now he just wants to be unkillable and make sure nobody else can survive.
That is true. That is 100% true. Color Craze trying to kind of feed the core through, but Twisty coming back at the exact perfect time, able to help defend and get the core to their side. Not really able to set up any real offense. Color Craze and Alphamy just kind of pinching the forward, Twisty. And then scoring the goal. Oh, they're kind of getting steamrolled right now. Oh my goodness. I do think that Dragonslayers 2 can come back, but Jackpot's really feeling themselves here. You would never expect them to not be the favorites here.
Absolutely. I feel like Alchemy Zentaro is significantly more of a problem than Dragonslayers were expecting in the beginning, and I think he is proving that if they do not ban this character next game, the game is going to be very hard.
Yeah. If you look at the bans, they banned the Vice. Color Cray is a really notable Vice player, so if they do ban the Zentaro next up, it just kind of enables Color Cray to take his pick that he really loves. And I'm really curious about the Atlas ban that Jackpot did. Probably they were thinking, hey, we'd be able to get a lot more damage on, and honestly, I agree with that.
So far, it's working out pretty well too. They're getting a huge amount of damage, and it's working out for them in spades. Oh, very close there. Excellent save by Luke. Oh,
excellent save by Luke, but it does not matter. Color Cray feeds it right back to Alchemy, and Alchemy knows exactly what he needs to do to secure the win. Dragonslayers 2 has not scored a single point yet this game, if I'm not mistaken. I have the memory of a goldfish, so I could be wrong. And there you go. There's the spark of leadership on the era, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, every other spark is still up as well.
Yes. Unfortunately, the Zentaro, who already has a stagger training, is getting another, and of all the stagger trainings, it is bulk up, though. That is a lot more damage. It is even harder to kill now, and it honestly feels like the scaling in this set might have actually gone in favor of Jackpot, even though we're getting Spark of Leadership. Because the Spark of Agility right now is just not a huge spread. It's like 4% speed, if even that much. They're going to need another set. They're going to need another set and another Spark if they want to win.
Yeah, that's probably what they're backing on as well. If they can win this set, which is exactly what they need to do, they're going to be able to get another Spark for sure on Striker Kai, since he's constantly been at the top of the Awakening draft order. But hey, if Alchemy is getting this value right now, it's being a lot harder to stay alive with all this pressure, especially on Luke. Finny doesn't really have that much survivability, but even though Alchemy is putting a lot of damage on the Luke, they're putting some damage on the Color Cray, forcing Alchemy to walk back, and there it is. There's the Finny Monumentalist, making it almost impossible to kind of feed it out.
Almost a perfect hook by Twisty to get the goal there. Another Knife's Edge moment, even though there's not Knife's Edge. But now we're walking backwards. Oh, never mind! Our first goal from Dragonslayers 2, and this might be the beginning of something special.
I loved how Twisty dribbled off of the Era Tornado in order to set it up for herself, and then was able to score after that. That was beautiful. That shows that she's really been playing with Era, really understands how the character works, and knows how to play with the Era Tornado, which is exactly what it needs to be. The second they got to their side of the field, Luke was able to walk up, put the ultimate down, and with all of that pressure on the side of Jackpot, it looked like Mexicasual was about to go down, but apparently not. Color Cray is playing now, kind of keeps them alive.
Oh, and an excellent outclear by Alchemy there, getting both barriers off the flip. Oh, both brawlers now are just performing incredibly well. They're doing what they need to do.
But is it going to be enough? That's the question. Like, be able to score to kind of steal this game.
Twisty, it absolutely. Oh, and another excellent strike for Twisty. It's definitely looking like it's possible.
That's some Caster Curse thing right there. I'm saying, like, ooh, can they do it? And they do it. Twisty's listening to this live somehow. I have no clue how, but hey, that's got to be the case. Alchemy trying to get the core out with the secondary, but unable to, and that kind of leads to a really tragic series of events. Luke being smaller means that the Mako special's not going to be able to connect, and they're able to take both barriers either way. But I'm sure they wanted to close out that set as quickly as possible to try and and there you go. What am I talking? Caster Curse. That's all I'll say.
Caster Curse back to back.
And I believe Striker Kai is going to be at the top of the drafting order. Yes. Oh, it is looking real bad for Jackpot.
Oh, and the Gambler's Curse. Two sparks on the face of things. It could be worse. It could only be one, but that is still Spark of Focus with leadership and another spark on the table for the Era, which is absolutely heart-wrenching for Jackpot. Not a terrible draft for them left. They got Spark of Strength, Prime Time. There's a lot of decent choices, but losing that set was pretty impactful, and it was a 3-0 at that after two really dominant sets.
Yeah, 100%. And I saw Rasmus taking extra special. I almost feel like she should have kind of let that fall to the Finny, who already had Monumentalist. Because that's really what's helping them kind of take these, is the Monumentalist going down. And you know what? I'm talking too fast. I'm glazing Dragonslayers too much because, hey, you know, now it's starting to swing in the favor of Jackpot, who are able to, even though they had the core on their side now, they took the barriers right quick, and I'm sure that all their abilities are up, and here you go. Is it in? Maybe not.
Kill. Oh, and a nice save by Color Craze. Could have been very dangerous.
Oh, Color Craze,
though.
Color Craze playing double defense very well. You know, even though Mexicasual might be the sub here, it looks like they've been playing together for quite a while, so I'm curious if they've been practicing a lot. Oh, it's the era buff. There it is. I'm sure that
more into primary.
I'm sure that our favorite era player, Brickbat, is probably screaming, "Ooh, era!" right now when he watches this.
His only regret is that it's not Era Brawler. Unfortunately, it's the weaker role.
Yeah, the weaker role. Hey, Era Brawler's in this patch.
Ooh,
Twisty going a little fancy. Yeah, getting a little fancy with it, knowing that it wouldn't take the barrier if she just struck it right at it, but was still defended away by Mexicasual. And there's the Finny ultimate yet again, making it incredibly hard to clear out as Mako, and they're taking advantage of that situation and immediately downing both barriers.
Seems like 2 warm-up sets are required. I feel like they're playing so much better around the Finny now, and it's giving them so many barriers so consistently. Oh. Great core control from Twisty with a combination of the Striker Kai, Tornado, push it in.
Yeah, I always said that I feel like Rasmus does really well into the Mako, and this game is a really good example of that. Twisty's kind of able to control where the Mako stands. You know, she doesn't really have the most movement speed, and a lot of her abilities want her to stay away from the Brawler. You know, her secondary kind of being interrupted. Yeah, Twisty running up and just kind of ulting the goalie constantly, you know, is making it incredibly hard for it to clear out.
What a flip by Alchemy, though. That was an excellent angle. Oh, and just a smidgen off from Twisty. Gave another excellent angle. And now all the pressure is back on Luke. It's 1 barrier, which is fine. We're playing a range goalie. Open net is chill, but it's a little bit scary on this map because you lose a lot of pressure.
Oh, the Sad Boys emote. Oh, that's negative aura right there. We can't Sad Boys emote into not score. That's illegal. Trying her hardest in order to score here, but is unable to. That was a really good offensive attempt, but unfortunately all their abilities are down, and I'm sure that Jackpots are all up, so let's kind of see where this goes, and it goes right into the net. Twisty able to capitalize on that situation with the Rasmus secondary.
Now, all of a sudden, we're set 5. It's been 6 points to 6 points for these 4 sets. Surely, in this 5th set, it'll be a little bit both ways. I'm down to see a set 5.5.
As am I. You know, Luke just woke up, was probably rubbing his eyes, you know, and then he hops into this game. It might be a little hard to defend, but now he's finally awake. The coffee's set in. Era taking the Speed Awakening. I feel like her taking that over Fight or Flight is a little bit weird, but I can also understand it because the more speed they have, the easier it is for them to get it onto the side of Jackpot, which is when Finny can really start setting up that offense and making it easier. Other than that, though, you know, Color Craze taking that twin drive, like that might be the crucial awakening that they need in order to win.
Yeah, I also thought that Twisty took Team Player and the Mako took Timeless Creator over either Stacks or another dash string. I thought those were very interesting selections. The Team Player, especially for a Brawler, is something that you don't see very often. Usually they want to play super on their own, so this more team-focused decision. I actually like it a lot. I think it's very valuable, especially on this map, so I will be excited to see how it ends up.
100%. I see Twisty passing a lot to Striker Kai. It's not proccing the Team Player, but when it does, it's going to get a lot of value. Twisty setting up the offense, but before scoring, making sure to take out Color Craze. And is it going to be in? These hook pulls from Twisty are dastardly. You know, as a goalie player, this hurts to see. I hate when that happens against me. You know, my blood is boiling right now. I hate this Rasmus character. Post nerf, pre nerf, it doesn't matter.
Okay, and another to end the set, or end the point rather, is a nice strike from Striker Kai. For all that we were talking about Twisty, it's starting to feel like Striker Kai is the unsung hero of this game. Max level, he's playing Era, which in my opinion is a very hard character to pilot on this map. Oh, but another excellent kill. Just like that. Nice try on the flip, we got it out though.
just like that. Hey, you know, Striker Kai taking Era, buffing the team, taking Spark of Leadership. Striker Kai might be a support player is all I'm going to say. Twisty trying to hook Mexi Casual out in order to secure the barrier, and with the help of the Finny Monumentalist special, it is, I'm sure, very easy to take that barrier, especially when you're playing against a Maka who doesn't really have the tools to deal with it. Now let's see if they're gonna be able to get the kill on the Twisty, putting a lot into, it's basically a race against time. What's gonna happen first? Is Twisty gonna die, or is the goal gonna go in? Twisty back to being very healthy. Striker Kai trying to set up some offense, and in the meantime, Color Craze taking a lot of damage, and this adrenaline rush is just getting so much value. Oh my goodness!
What a...
We might have counted them out a little too soon, the Dragonslayers 2, the 2's in the name for a reason, all right? This is the sequel, and, the sequel always... Yeah, I don't even know where I'm going with this, they're without the 2, with the 2, it doesn't matter, they're crazy.
Just a lot of people... The second game's gonna go even crazier, now that they're... I mean, wow! And to think that they lost 6-0 in the first 2 sets, and then they just take it right back 9-0. What an incredible showing from Dragonslayers 2 after that start.
Yeah, I'm really kind of surprised at how much that changed. Picking up the Spark of Leadership, the Adrenaline Rush, and the Deadeye on the Finny. I wasn't sure if it was going to be enough in order to kind of start swinging things in the other way. But this goes down.
Yep. And the first big reveal is what is Among Titans, and actually, it is both teams size dumping their brawler. Alphamy and Twisty both picking Recovery Drone, and all of their teammates picking Among Titans.
Yeah, I'm seeing that Mexi Casual is really trying to speed abuse right now. And look how fast this Dubu is. We got the ice skates going. Might be a little oppressive, with the big Rasmus, kind of making it really hard to defend. But Dubu definitely really cares about the size a lot more than the Atlas does. So I'm not sure if that was the right pick there, but I would love to see Jackpot prove me wrong here when Alphamy can kind of take every single barrier from being so big.
And if nothing else, despite that goal, you could see that little Dubu just running all over the place. He was skating for sure. And I think that if they can get utilization out of the Mom Boots and let the Dubu push up, especially when they're all level 2, I think that's when we're going to see the extra speed start shining for the side of Jackpot.
Absolutely. Oh, Dubu. I love watching this character run so fast, moving his little legs around. Twisty pulling Color Craze out and trying to take the barrier, but is unable to. Color Craze still winning that crucial core flip. And, Luke's still opting to take the strike shot instead of the buffed Mom Boots, and is able to kind of keep the core forward. Twisty being a lot bigger, making it really hard to kind of strike it away from her. And with the flip in front of the net, it's looking really hard. And, the back pass to the Luke. The Luke, that's right, I said it. Infamous Luke. Enables them to keep core control, and then they utilize that core control in order to score the goal. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and you don't see that kind of play very often. Most brawlers would have just tried to force it in. I think that what Twisty did there was an excellent display of situational awareness. She knew that there was no way that strike was going to make it through all the cooldowns that Jackpot still had, so he decided to give it to his goalie and just ensure that they kept the ball for longer so they could find a more favorable opportunity.
Yeah, I really like the way that Striker kind of played defense there. I know they lost both barriers, but afterwards, kind of the double tap on the special in order to keep the core out, making it a lot easier for them to defend it and get it back to the side of Jackpot. They had a flow-stating Octavia, but with, a little bit of patience, they were able to put a lot of damage on her and make it so that she is going down. And with that, Striker Kai utilizing that speed to overtake Alphamy secured the goal. We're up 1 set for Dragonslayers 2.
And another 3-0 to add to the collection. We'll see what this draft looks like. Oh, fight or flights. And unfortunately, Octavia is not second pick, so her value gets diminished significantly in terms of what has to be denied. There are 2 dash strings here, so it's likely that she's going to get one of them. But part of the problem with Octavia right now is that her cooldowns just got nerfed significantly on her primary, 2.5 seconds on a cooldown that's already pretty difficult to use effectively. So it's going to be really hard for her to keep flow state up without some of the durations like Castellas popping up early when she's winning.
Yeah, and with that low stagger as well, even if she can get flow state and maintain it, it's only a matter of time before she ends up going down. Another thing in the draft, not really much for Luke to take there, which is kind of why he opted to take the Spark of Leadership. But that Spark of Leadership, even if, Jackpot is able to kind of bring it back here. It's going to be a lot harder for them to win overall, just because that Sparkle leadership is going to be getting a lot of value for later. Oh, and they're able to overwhelm the opposition. You know, Color Craze exactly where he needs to be, Alpha Me exactly where he needs to be. Makes it very hard for the Atlas to defend.
Excellent for the pass and play from Color Craze and Alpha Me to take 2 barriers. And Color Craze is... Oh no! Color Craze was slowly building up their flow state there, but updated era is just too strong sometimes with that 0.2 second.
Oh, I mean, the beam is too strong. Not only did it push it into the net, but it also pushed Alpha Me out of the game. That is unfortunate, but at the same time, it's good that it happened at the very start of this, so that we're not going to be continuing this point.
We're back nice and fast. It's almost like nothing happened.
Nothing happened indeed. You know, they should just do that at the start of every single point to try and get into overtime and try to overwhelm their opponents, you know what I mean? Like...
I don't know. I feel like overtime actually favors the other team more.
You're probably right here. And as I stated before, you know, Color Craze getting that flow state, it might be a little harder to keep up, but all that damage that's going on to him, it's making it really hard for him to actually maintain it, even if he's, you know, getting the strikes in, getting the primaries in. He has to kind of walk himself out of every single position so he doesn't die. Casual able to clear it out, and with a nice strike shot, keeping it in. And Alpha Me keeping Twisty out. Oh my goodness, things are changing so fast. Striker Kai reading Casual like a book, and making sure that that flip does not get any value.
And now we've kind of opened up a hole that Jackpot really needs to find uses for. They got the kill on Twisty to get rid of her recovery drone, so now she is lethal. But Alpha Me has been struggling to find kills so far, and I really think that's what they're going to need to be able to do if they want to win these games with the Juliets. Because they're going to get out controlled by Raptors Era.
Something I noticed too, oh, very nice shot by Twisty, threading the needle. Something I noticed too, Alpha Me, every single time he's positioning for a dash punch, and it looks like he even has a modicum chance to kill, Luke is just putting the ultimate down. It doesn't matter if he's anywhere close to it or not. Like, he's just playing it very safe and knows that the only real way that they lose this game is if Alpha Me, as you stated, gets those kills. So he's just trying to make sure that that doesn't happen. You know, Color Craze and Alpha Me kind of standing in the black hole, almost dying because of it, and making it a lot harder to kind of get any offense going because they just have so much damage on themselves now.
Yeah, and that talk about the black hole is something that I feel like Dragonslayers have historically used very well. I've always been very impressed with how Luke especially has utilized black hole both as a dribbling tool as well as a tool to just get a lot of damage after forcing people in bad positions. I think what we're seeing from Color Craze is that it's really hard to position well around it while still getting value.
That was a big log, able to defend against the flip that Twisty has. Striker Kai trying to kind of hold on to the core as long as possible so that Twisty can get into a better position. But in doing so, kind of setting up the offense for Jackpot, maybe unintentionally. Alpha Me able to have a flip and put it in. Luke probably thought that he had a strike shot up or anything like that, or maybe he thought he'd be able to reach it in time. That was an excellent shot by Alpha Me, kind of taking advantage of it. And hey, this, you know, as you like to say, all it takes is a trickle. Remember the ocean.
And we have finally broken the curse of 3-0s. And so whatever happens, something different will occur. And honestly, I would love to see Jackpot win this and have us be a super close game, because I really think it can be.
Yeah, definitely. Striker Kai is kind of moving up to make it so that the out clear is very hard to do. But yeah, I mean, Luke and Striker Kai kind of weaving their strikes together, but it doesn't matter. Alpha be able to secure the kill. Twisty trying to get a little fancy with it, but it doesn't matter. Once again, you know, the defense on both these teams is really nice. Even if we're kind of losing barriers quickly, it is really hard to get it around the Rasmus. It's really hard to get it around the Julie. So yeah, I mean, these characters are big. What can I say?
And with that first dash punch, hopefully that's another sign of things to come. There's a second one.
Oh, right, what were you saying there?
Really important opportunity for Color Craze and Alpha Me. As long as he keeps the flow state here. Oh, we can also just... Alright, we got the flip. That's pretty big. We just need to survive.
Wonderful flip by Casual in order to kind of clear it out. Both the goalies utilizing their flips very well. Alpha Me is kind of getting all these kills, but it doesn't really matter because every single time they get the kills, Luke still has all the resources he needs in order to feed the core out. And it's only a matter of time. One of these goalies is going to get overwhelmed and not have any abilities up. Alpha B's kind of sitting really low, got that barrier to keep him alive, which enables him to kind of walk up and keep this offense going. But with that little tiny strike, it's going to be really hard to defend, and Twisty taking advantage of it seals the deal. It's set 3 now, I guess. I don't know what set we're on. We're on set 3 now. We just finished set 2. Oh, yeah. Striker Kai's up top.
And another MVP for the era. And it's looking like stacks on stacks or a dash training. Now, which one would you prefer to pick here, knowing that Octavia will be picking before the next person on your team?
I think you kind of always want to opt for stacks on stacks in the situation. Or, actually, no. You know what? I changed my mind. I agree with Striker Kai here with the Dash Awakening. Color Craze isn't really going to get much value out of stacks on stacks. You know, he's constantly dying, and if that isn't the case, they can obviously shift their perspective now and kind of swap to just killing Color Craze over and over again. And the Dash Awakening will just make it a lot harder to kind of get those kills because of the initial speed it gives to her secondary.
I would tend to agree. I think that the stacks on stacks, especially with how Twisty and Striker Kai have kind of not even been killing Color Craze, but they've just been putting them at stagger threshold and then saying, hey, you're not allowed to play the game anymore, I hope you have fun. I feel like they can kind of choose to kill him whenever they want, and they're making the active decision not to. And it is keeping him out of the play for a lot longer than he would if he was actually killing, which they can clearly still do. Oh my god.
I am aghast at how they played that. Twisty not taking kind of like what most brawlers probably would and trying to take like that little shot through the back. Instead clearing it down into the tornado. I'm sure that was absolutely calmed, and from there, you know, getting the kill on Mexa Casual because he has to swap, and then just overwhelming the opposition. I mean, these era buffs are looking really solid. I've not seen a team utilize them as well as Dragonslayers 2 have been. Striker Kai is going to change his name to Striker Era. Oh my goodness. This is a era masterclass, I'll say it.
Alright, and this could be it. Back against the wall for Jackpot. Alchemy has flip. He needs 1 kill and he gets a lot of value. Oh, that's a great start for Jackpot believers.
You know what? I think for the rest of this, let's just believe in Jackpot. Dragonslayers 2 are awful. Alright, they'll wait. Oh, how does Caster Curse work? We want to support DRG?
We want to support the team that's going to lose.
Okay.
So that
right.
they can win.
Alright, so go Jackpot. They're going to score here? Absolutely not. Unfortunate. DRG, you know, they're notorious team, really bad. And this Caster Curse thing's really hard. you can't really reverse psychology, I guess. You know, reverse psychology fate. Even though the barriers are down for Dragonslayers 2, Luke having that flip up is going to make it incredibly hard for him to kind of get any value, especially with Juliet.
So carefully. He's always at no health. It's so hard to actively play the game. And as an Octavia, you kind of need to be in the middle of the field, touching the core if you want to get value out. And it just feels so hard for the Octavia to do anything.
Oh, speaking of value, Color Craze is kind of keeping that flow state up as long as possible. Unfortunately, losing it, but you know, all that speed kind of accumulating as much as it did made it really hard for Dragonslayers 2 to keep the core away from him without utilizing abilities, trying to be a little cheeky with the flip, and a wonderful log is going to make sure that Rasmus isn't able to kind of get a cheeky goal off of that, you know, killing the Dubu and then securing it, or even like dribbling for it. Twisty very good at kind of maintaining core control with this Rasmus character. You know, you wouldn't ever expect a brawler to be able to do that, you know? I mean, you might not know as a brawler yourself. You probably glaze yourself too much, but hey, you know what I mean.
Oh, Alchemy. Excellent mix attempt. It's just Luke was too there on the layer 1.
Yeah, sometimes you want to utilize the layer 2, layer 3, even though you have to be utilizing the layer 1. Luke knew exactly what he needed to do. Yeah, the way that the
position where both goalies are at 1 mistake to lose it all. Oh, and a oh my god! Alpha just went insane. That was crazy.
It just takes a trickle. Oh my goodness, that was beautiful by both Color Craze and Alphamy. Alphamy taking out both players. If I'm not am I not mistaken? Did Color Craze take out a player, or did Alphamy?
Color Craze raw primary killed Striker Kai in the net.
Oh my goodness. Hey, you know, nerf Octavia more, I guess. Is all I'll say to that.
Alright, and slight advantage in this 4th point. And a very, very well-positioned dash punch, getting the whole recovery drone out of Twisty, which makes her very vulnerable from now on.
At least for the rest of the set, they're playing this offense very well. They're playing off each other. Alpha is kind of stopping the core and setting it up, and Color Craze just kind of running up and hitting it exactly where it needs to go, away from Luke, who definitely positioned to where he needed to be for the Julie ultimate.
And despite what we were talking about earlier with Color Craze being at risk of dying, somehow he has consistently stayed at 150 stacks for most of this set, and I think it's providing them a lot of value.
Yeah, I mean, once again, hey, we're on the caster bench. We have no clue what we're talking about. We're just yapping right now. But these players, they know exactly what they need in order to win this game. Mexicasual almost successfully putting it behind the barrier, doing a little sad boys. But it might be it for them. The tornado's getting set up, and ooh, Alpha Me, even though it didn't get the kill, was able to kind of clear the core out and make it a lot easier to defend for Mexicasual. And Color Craze coming alive exactly when he needs to. And you know what? I might be talking too soon. It's looking like Color Craze might be a little dead right now. And yes, that's exactly what's going on.
We are up one flip though on the goalie. We just have to keep surviving the defense. Alphami's hunting for a dash punch. Can't quite find one. Looks to the other side. There we go. Blood in the water for the Julie player. Now, once more, defend, and then we're in a really good spot for Jackpot. Nice try to strike.
Absolutely. And it's looking a lot harder for Dragonslayers, too, to defend against this. You know, Color Craze and Alphamy kind of figuring something out on the offense, and Mexicash just kind of holding it down exactly the way he needs to. But unfortunately, the Casa Curse strikes yet again. As I was blazing the goalie, Twisty decided, no, I want this game to end. We are unfortunately not going to get our banger set 5.5 that we both desperately wanted.
What a shame. But a solid effort from the side of Jackpot. I think there are definitely some moments of greatness. I think that was a really hard game to play, for the Octavia especially, because they were just able to force it towards her so much, and she was just not able to play the game that she wanted to without dying.
No